Hey everyone, it's Michelle Vina-Baltsas. I haven't had a chance to check in for a while, and if you celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope that you had a wonderful time with friends and family, loved ones, and that whatever foods you had available to you, that they were delicious and satisfying. What else could we ask for? Today, I want to talk to you about some insidious ways that diet mentality creeps into our lives. And this is important, and I've written a blog about this before, but there was another piece to this that I just sort of discovered that I wanted to share with you. And this is related to clothing, especially now because it's the holiday season is upon us. And regardless of which holiday you're celebrating, December is typically a very festive time of year. And it's also a time of year where we are getting dressed up, which is kind of fun. It can be fun for some, and for some it can be a little bit frightening. Frightening because if you don't necessarily have clothes that are comfortable for you, or you are possibly just starting intuitive eating or have been doing it for some time and you may have added some weight, this can be a little bit of a challenge. And Lord knows I've been there before, so I know that there is definitely some discomfort in the weight gain, and I understand that. I empathize and, know that it does eventually come to an end, and the freedom also comes, so that's the good news. But before that happens, there is some discomfort there. And one of the things I tell my clients all the time is to be where you are, especially in terms of your clothing. So if you're in the midst of some changes with your body, dress your body accordingly. Wear things that are comfortable for you. But what I also urge them to do is to put aside or donate clothing that no longer fits them. And the reason why I suggest this is because a lot of thoughts creep back into our minds, which is so easy to do. Well, I don't want to get rid of those clothes because I may fit into them again someday. And you know what? You may, but for now you're not. And that constant thought of, I may fit into them someday, really translates to, I may lose weight and fit into them again. Okay? If we are holding on to any shred of hopes that we're going to lose weight, guess what? It's going to be very difficult to embrace intuitive eating for all its beauty, because the whole idea of intuitive eating, well, not the whole idea, but a big piece of the intuitive eating puzzle is to be as weight neutral as we possibly can, to not have expectations of weight loss, to really be seeking food freedom in whatever form that is. By saying that, well, I want to keep these clothes around because I may fit into them someday, you could unconsciously be restricting your food because you hope to fit into such and such outfit that you've had for so many years. How do I know this? Because I used to do it. I used to do it all the time. So I have no shame in that. It's what I did. And you know what? It's what a lot of people do. This is the reality of it. I'm not saying everybody does it, but I'm saying a lot of people do it. So what I'm suggesting is, if you haven't done this in some time, go through your closet and really do an honest closet cleanse. Keep the stuff you love and that fits, and please give away, donate, or do something so that it's out of your sight, the clothing that no way, shape, or form fits you anymore. Because a lot of times we hold on to these things, and what happens is, I know what I used to do is I would look in my closet and be like, oh, I remember that outfit when I was such and such pounds. And it would really depress me. And if I would say I was okay with it, I really wasn't being honest with myself, especially when I repeatedly would see these outfits every single time I opened up my closet. It was a constant reminder of what my body wasn't anymore. And it hurt. It really did. It hurt because I was blaming myself when in reality I needed to be blaming dieting, okay? Because the reason why I gained weight so many times, lost and gained, obviously weight cycling, which is what we are not about, and why one of the reasons why we seek intuitive eating is because dieting fails us. We have not failed. Dieting has failed us. And every attempt that we made to go on another diet was just more nails in our coffin. And it really just kept pushing us further and further up in the weight scale and also with our set point. So this is very important to understand. We have not failed. It's diets that have failed us. And I know this is a very difficult concept to understand, but it's one that is critically important in order to move forward in your intuitive eating journey. So, if you don't currently have clothing that fits you, I encourage you to get some new clothing. And I totally get that it's not cheap, especially at this time of year, but I have a tip for you. And I've posted about this many times before. Go to a secondhand store, go to a thrift shop. I do it all the time and I find great buys. So you can pay a fraction of what you would pay like at a retail store. You can go to a thrift store or even a consignment shop. They have got great stuff. And the fun thing about it is it's very unique because they only have one. So I really encourage you to do that. This is the holiday season and you deserve, as always, to be dressed in a way that makes you feel comfortable and confident, not feeling like your waist is going to be cut because your pants are too tight or the legs on your pants are too tight or your skirt is really squeezing you. Not a good place to be ever, but especially at the holidays, this is a very joyous time. So I encourage you to do that, but I really encourage you to look at the reasons why you might be holding on to these things, because that is really important. And also to consider that it possibly could be the insidiousness of diet mentality seeping in. And that's really the crux of it. Again, when there's any shred of hope, well, I might lose the weight, subconsciously, you could still be restricting your food. And that is not the way of intuitive eating. We are trying to get away from food restriction. So I really want to be clear about that. And again, it's still trying to control your size and your weight, which again is not a weight neutral approach and is not intuitive eating. So with intuitive eating, we are kind of like letting the cards fall where they may. We are doing our part in honoring our hunger and fullness and paying attention to satisfaction and all of those wonderful things, mindful movement, mindful eating. But doing all of that does not necessarily guarantee we're going to lose or gain weight. So that's why we just kind of like need to relinquish that control, let the cards fall where they may, let our bodies find their natural weight on their own without trying to manipulate it. I know, not easy at all, but guess what? It can be done, and it's happening every single day to many, many people, and it's happened to me, and it's happened to many of my clients. It just takes time, and oftentimes a lot of guidance. Someone is trying to call me. I never get phone calls. Anyway, I hope this message finds you all well, and that's all. If you have any questions, post a question down below. Let me know how this video sits with you. You may be uncomfortable by this video because you may be like, how did she know I was doing that? And how do I know? Because if you're doing it, know that I did it and know that all my clients have done it. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. We need to talk about these things openly or else we're not going to heal. So I'm happy to say that my closet now only has clothes in it that fit my body today. Okay, and they fit my body for a number of years now because I've been through, my process. It's been a number of years now, over 5 years since I've been doing this. So my clothes fit me and they have fit me for a number of years, and I feel really lucky about that, but in the beginning they didn't. So this is a process, and it's a never-ending process, and there's always room for growth for all of us. So again, I'm done, and I hope this was helpful in some way. Have a great day. Bye.